I'm from Santa Clara, Pueblo. I've been doing pottery since I was 7 years old. The back-breaking work of all of you know, it is hard to get into that clay pit and pick out that clay, pull it out into like tubs, and to go out and get the temper that binds the clay, and then to go out and pick out the actual like slip, and to go out and get your stones and everything, to do all that, and get the manure to fire pottery to make it black, you know, or to pick out your colors, you know, from, you know, for polychrome. That is back-breaking work. No younger generation, my age, will ever do that. They rather seek out like casino jobs, you know, and that is why I'm saying that this art that we do as traditional potters is dying out. Their younger generation, it's like, oh mom, oh grandma, I want to go out and I'm going to get a job over here. I'm going to, you know, they don't want to do it no more. It's dying out. We are the last ones, you guys. We are the last ones. There are shortcuts that have been taken too. You know, that people have been going to Santa Fe Clay Company and getting a big old thing of clay and making stuff from it because they don't want to go do the back-breaking work that we do. You know, and they start making pots out of that and everything, and they can start glazing it and all that stuff and passing it off as traditional shit. I don't like that. You know that, right? Am I right? That's right, yeah. Because, and then they go and get like these little Duncan colors and all that kind of stuff. You know, they put polychrome on there and all that kind of stuff, and say, oh, this is like traditional like clay and stuff. You know, we put it on there, and they just, come on, you guys. Yeah, that's what I hate. That's the thing, because my family, I'm the last of the guitarist family in Santa Clara. We are the first ones that brought polychrome to Santa Clara, Pueblo, and we are the last. I'm the last guitarist. I'm the last one. And I do black on black. But my Aunt Margaret, guitarist, I come from Luther and Van guitarists. They are the ones that want me to do polychrome. And I don't know where to get those colors from anymore sometimes. I don't know. See? See, you guys know, don't you? Yeah. Where am I going to go? Santa Fe Clay Company? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, don't bullshit a bullshitter. But anyway, I'm telling you, man, it's really, really hard to find those colors because nobody wants to give up their little secrets and stuff. It's like, oh, by the way, how'd you get that? It's like, well, I'm not going to tell you. You know, I was like 7 years old. That was my first show. And that's how serious I am about traditional pottery.
I'm going to say a few words in Keres. Tawa e wektieko. Tawa e tai sai watatieko. Yuma e matsieko. One thing that's been bothering me in one of the magazines where my pottery is, it says contemporary. I got upset about that. I work hard. I dig my clay. I get my own ipsha. I go after my own rocks for the black. And I share what I have learned. The people that really inspired me are sitting right here. Dolores and her sister, their mother, the late Lucy Lewis. My grandmother and I used to go to Gallup Ceremonial, and I would see the Chino family and the Lewis family. Oh, I used to just look at their artwork. I used to go up to their table, you know, and rub my chin against their table. They probably say, oh, this little girl is dripping on them, you know, or slobbering all over our table. But I admire these people because they're the ones who really got Acoma pottery exposed to the outside. And I always thought, one day, someday, I'm going to be like them. I'm going to work hard. I was born and raised at Acoma. I lived up at Acoma, and I am so proud to say that Lucy Lois, I slept by her. She would come and sleep. A few of the ladies, they used to gather together, and they would come and share a meal. They lived up at Acoma, and my grandmother, Arina, would come over, and we would eat together. They make tamales or bread, and, you know, spent the night. And she spent a couple of nights at our house. And it was just really, you know, I didn't know as a little girl how famous this lady was going to be. And when I think back, I said, oh, I slept by Lucy Lewis, you know. As when I was little, I used to make pottery. My grandmother used to let me make pottery with the clay that we used to plaster the houses, and they would fire red. And I was so glad and so honored, you know, when she said, okay, Dal, now you can make pottery with the real clay. And I was, oh, all right, you know, I was ready to get in there. She goes, but first we have to go dig it. And I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna make me dig my own clay. I can't believe this. So we had to go dig the clay. She said, even a small bucket just to get you started. And to this day, I am so pleased she made me do, because it made me appreciate the art even more. After I did that, then she said, you can't just get it. You have to, you know, like what you mentioned, you know, respect Mother Earth so you get it, you know, go pray before you dig it out. And that's what she made me do. And she said, you don't just take, and you only take what you need. You don't abuse it. And then she had to, and she made me go get my own ipsha, the white slip, you know, everything. And then she said, okay, the rocks, you know, I'll give you one, but I'll show you where you can find the others. And I looked, and I said, where in the world do you find them? And I found a small piece, and she told me how you could find them. So I finally got everything together, and then the only thing she gave me was the rock to mix the paint on. That's the only thing she gave me. She said, if I was really going to be mean, I'd make you make your own paint rock, she told me. But she made me go through the whole process, and of course I learned how to fire outdoors. And the majority of, you know, Acomas, you're all here, you know, a majority of us use kilns to kiln fire our pottery. Of course, the breakage is a lot higher, you know, your chances of getting the pottery out of, you know, outside firing, you know, is higher. You know, if you go through all that work, and of course, you know, the final step is the firing, and what do you get? You fire 10 and you get 4, you know. So you have to really pack the clay. And some people say, well, how do you fire this with? I said, well, majority of our people kiln fire. And there is what we call double fire. You fire at a low temperature, the big pieces, and then you take them back outside, but you have to be very careful, but because the paint gets all chalky on the outside. And then you have to fire again outside. They say, well, what's the temperature? I have no idea. I just know it's burning, it's hot. Don't know, I don't want to stick my finger in there. You know, it's just hot. You know, when we talk about sharing or trying to teach the young people, that's very important. We need to share that. And whoever comes, and I've shared Lily and other people who have come to me, well, it's so hard to find that wok. Where do we get that wok? And I heard one of you mention that you can use any kind of a plant, the juices from it. Well, I found that just beets that you buy at the, you know, at the fruit stand or the grocery store, cut them up in small pieces, boil it, and get the juice, and that's what I've been using because I don't have any wok either. I think every potter is unique or has their own way or their own style of making, how they, like you can, like a lot of you are saying, well, you can teach people, you know, but people have they have to find their own way of making. With my daughter, she just gets a piece of clay, my granddaughter, I mean, and she'll just start, shaping. But my daughter, she coils all her pieces. She uses the coil method to make her figures. Also, the younger generation needs to learn that it's the respect for Mother Earth, to take only what you need. So that's one of the things that, that I think as potters we all need to share, and to, and I honestly believe that, honesty is the best thing, because that's how I was raised too. My grandfather was so dead. He would, he hated gossip. He said, well, were you there? Did you see it? No. Well, I heard, okay, it's just hearsay. You be quiet. Don't you speak that and tell that to anybody else. So he always told us that. And I tell my children that, and they know that. But, those things that, if we want to learn something, you go and ask that person, In a class, my daughter's senior year at Laguna Acoma, they asked me to come in. She was in a ceramic class, and they asked me if I could come in and do a demo with using the clay. And I said, well, I can't take any of my clay down there. And then they said, well, we have ceramic clay. Well, okay, we'll work with ceramic clay. So I went down there and taught them how to shape the pots and, make them. And a lot of the kids were, really interested in putting the pots together. They said, well, Mrs. Lucario, the pots are falling, They wanted to get it all done. I said, sorry, this is going to take a couple of weeks. It's not something you can do, paint and fire all in one day. So it took time, and they learned a lot of patience from that. And they learned that, and then to make their brushes, when they came time to make their brushes, they were like, oh, this tastes ugly, the yucca and everything. And how can you do this? So we made their brushes, and then mixing the paint. I took my paints down there, and they were mixing, and it was already, the bell rang. Okay, we're going to have to continue mixing our paint tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was. And they realized how much time it took, to do this work. And they said, well, I'm just going to go buy me a ceramic cup and paint it, I said, well, that's up to you, but, you have nice work, you have nice designs. And that's the thing with our people, a lot of our people do nice work. I've seen beautiful work, beautiful painting. And to me, it's a waste of time and, energy putting it on a ceramic cup or a little bowl or something that has no value. And so it would be, more interesting, or more, I think it would be more meaningful to even the individual that's doing that, if they actually started from scratch, went through the whole process to even appreciate their own work and to realize their own artistic ability. So that's all I have to say, but thank you for giving me this time.